Welcome to class 3, Cooking with Heart. So we are going to talk about what's the big deal with plants. It's a really big deal, guys, a really big deal. So I actually heard on a podcast that I love. It's my favorite all-time podcast. It's that Dr. Rangan, Elaine, you heard me talk about him. And his podcast he just released is all about brain. And this guy talks about plant-based eating. And he said for every 10% drop in ultra processed, in other words, moving towards whole food eating that you do, you increase your mortality 14%. So quite a bargain. You get 14% for 10%. So I know me. So very cool. And so the point he was trying to make was some people just get overwhelmed and are like, I'm not doing enough. And it's like, just if you can just start moving towards more whole food, it's a spectrum. And I'll never be at the full, like, whatever, and I'm not trying to be like everything completely uncooked raw from the garden, that's not the goal. My body doesn't need that to really fight off and heal. So what you're trying to do is give your body the components to heal, repair, and be healthy. And it's amazing. It is set up to do that, guys, if you give it the stuff. And we were never meant to have the ultra processed. So, and the other thing that this expert physician made was he says, people don't understand. The ultra processed food was never, come on in, Bernice, was never meant to be in moderation. Okay? People don't realize the ultra processed is all about overdoing it. Eating and eating and eating and eating and not stopping. That's what happens. And if you want more on that, I actually gave a talk on it for a heart to heart, and it's actually recorded. So if you go to unitypoint.org/heart, then scroll down, there's the recordings. And one of my recordings, there's several from the cardiologists there, but one of them is about eating processed food and really what it means. So people don't understand that you're not going to have willpower against much of this ultra processed food out there. I'm not going to either. I just don't set myself up. So, okay, let's get going. So I'm so excited. So I'm going to blow your mind and wrap ideas. We're going to talk about that trash talk tofu a lot of times. And then next week, you got to come next week. So next week, we're going to do mindful eating, and we're going to do an eating exercise for those that are here, and those that are at home. Just make sure you get 2 chocolate chips or 2 raisins, okay, next week. So I'll give you time to go grab it, so if you forget. But here, I'll provide your food here. So we're going to do that because it's really important to connect with your food and pay attention to your body's signals and enjoy it. So, and then we're also going to talk about this really, really important concept called caloric density. And we're going to really just hammer that because it's really important to understand that. That's much easier than calorie counting or, other kind of nutrients counting. This is a much easier way to just really make sure you're into a super healthy overall eating pattern. Okay. So I'd love to take a moment and let people share their learnings, okay? Everything is a learning. So what you didn't do, what you did do, what you thought of, all that is a learning. So I'd love to hear from those at home. I'd love to hear from people here, just anything. So I will pause.
Well, I learned a lot from the video I watched about designing and laying out your kitchen for your cooking processes. But one tip that I kind of hung on to was leaving that quarter cup measuring cup inside my oatmeal, so it's all ready to go. I know it's a little thing, but it is a helpful thing.
Awesome. Yes. I don't know if you heard that at home. Penny said that she really thought about her organization of her kitchen. And one thing that made a big difference, even though it's really small, is she put a quarter cup measuring in the oatmeal. So she can just grab and go. So just start thinking of those little things. And you may not, just as you go, just start thinking, oh, I'm making this like several times a week. why don't I just make it easy and put all the measuring, and even like if there's a recipe that you love that you want to make almost every week, then, if you can, put the spices together and label it so that you don't even have to measure. So again, just start thinking, how can I make this, even shaving off 10 seconds? Molly.
One of the reasons I'm here is to figure out how to use spices and things in place of salt. And I made zoodles with shrimp for lunch the other day. And my go-to would be black pepper, Parmesan, and a little bit of salt. I thought to myself, you usually put lemon on your shrimp when you're just eating shrimp. You usually put lemon juice on your spinach when you're just eating spinach. Why not just try lemon juice on this shrimp and zoodle thing? And I did it. It was, it replaced the salt totally for me, and it replaced the Parmesan cheese. And I was like, this is great.
How'd it taste?
It was great.
Oh, good. Okay,
So it was
awesome,
refreshing.
Molly.
It made me feel good. And I cleaned out my drawers thanks to you.
Oh, good.
Bought bins and got rid of the things that I used at Thanksgiving and Christmas, you know what I mean?
Yes,
The car
yes, I
moves.
know. Yes.
All that. So
Yeah,
my
and-
drawers are much more easy to use for my
Well,
utensils.
And I hope that you can go quicker than just even again, a couple seconds. And even the frustration, I don't know about you, but sometimes I get frustrated, like searching for something. It's supposed to be in here, I can't see it. So just even saving that kind of mental frustration. So other things, other learnings. Yes, Nancy.
I made homemade chicken noodle soup. My sister wasn't feeling good, so I thought, I'll just make it. I had everything in the refrigerator for it, and when I went to chop the carrots and the celery and things like that, I was just gonna throw the garbage in the sink. I thought, no. So I got another little bowl, and I had my little prep bowl, and I threw all the garbage in there, and, I was pretty proud of myself.
Awesome, awesome.
But then, I was stressed about something. My chicken noodle soup turned out good, but it was, low sodium. But I was stressed about something, and I thought, I need salt. So I went and I got my Morton seasoned salt. That was my go-to, and I put a little on it, and I tasted it. It was so salty, I couldn't eat it. So anyway, so I was used, my body's getting used to it. I have to give away my Morton seasoned salt now.
Wow, okay, Nancy got something too salty it tasted. So that's good. Your taste buds are changing. Well, and you paid attention. That's another kudos. So, because a lot of times we're just guzzling things down, and you paid attention and said, whoa, I'm gonna back down on this next time I make this.
Yeah, so the soup was, the soup was good. I mean, it had flavor, but it
Yeah.
didn't have that salt flavor
Yeah.
I'm used to.
Okay,
And when I
okay.
added it wasn't, I was sorry that I added it. But I only added it to my little, so
Uh-huh.
the rest of it's just mine.
I love all those awareness. Okay. I love the idea of letting cruciferous veggies sit out for a while. Okay. Moved healthy. Awesome. Therese moved healthy food to best plate and fridge. It works. Oh, awesome. Awesome. When talking about zones in the kitchen, you have kale listed in the freezer. What is the best way to freeze kale? Just rinse it off. Actually, kale, it would be best blanched, Beth, and we're going to blanch today. Because when you blanch, you kill the enzymes that kind of make it go bad. So it stays longer. So, and you can blanch just a couple different ways, but remind me, Beth. So for putting it in the freezer. So, okay. Ensure drinks good for post-workout recovery drinks. Terry. Ensure's kind of, the last time I looked at them, is a little high for my preference on sugar. They're there, meant as a supplement drink. They do perform a great function for some people that need that added nourishment. Not my preferred thing, but talk to me if you're doing workout, Terry, and want some ideas there. Can Ensure work when you're in a bind? Yes. It's just not what I'd have as my kind of regular post-workout thing. So get with me, Terry, about that. Okay, awesome. Love these things. So everybody, the observations. Okay, also the wet paper towel and spinach was so helpful. It kept it fresh longer. Yes, isn't that amazing? So simple. So awesome. Okay. I also want to make sure I answer the questions because I get carried away and just like share so many things. So balsamic vinegar, people wanted to know about the reduced, how long that would keep. And I looked that up. It's basically no problem forever kind of thing. So it's vinegar. And even when you reduce it, it's just vinegar. So it's still got the vinegar in it. So no problem having that out. I mean, some people will probably put it in the refrigerator because they're just so used to it, but it's going to turn thicker, guys. And remember, we had super thick last week. Okay. So I did actually take your guys' advice, and while I was doing some prep over the weekend, I put some boiling water, took it off, and then set it there and just added some water and shook it up, and it's usable now. So thank you. The other thing was about tricky one about olive oils that that are local that you can get. So so the COOC.com is the best certification. The problem is not all vineyards have the money to get certified. And the other thing is the list right now for 2022 is like a third of the normal yearly list. And I called them up and I said, is there something going on here? Are companies just not able to pay for it or what? And they said, well, it really kind of they keep adding to it through April. So even though it says, because it's, what happens is, they have the harvest of the year before, and then they send them in to be tested, and then they get tested and they get added. So 2021, 2022 are going to be good, kind of olive oils. Again, you want to make sure it's extra virgin olive oil. Just because it says doesn't mean it is. Okay, because they're adding older oils that are spoiled. They've even been known to add like non-olive oil to things. They can add, without anybody, unless they're tested and verified, they can add chemically processed, so non-virgin to it. So you just really want to get that benefit. So here's one that I've gotten at Walmart, and I'll pass this around so you can see the seal. It's, I don't know, can you guys see there? That seal there, that's the California seal. So this one officially has it. It's not too expensive. I didn't think it's at Walmart. The other one, of course, is the one that I use. That does not have the COOC.com. There's actually kind of like a dispute going on between the COOC.com, and I didn't actually use any today. But the California Olive Ranch, because it has the name California Olive. And the California Olive Council would like them to take that off. I'm just like, really? So they refuse to verify them. So, but I promise you, I've looked deep, and this is what I use like 90% of the time. So it's just crazy. Now, the only other thing that you can probably do, that if I was concerned well, Kirkland's on there, Kirkland Extra Virgin. So the Costco is on there. Hi, is this Dorothy?
They're just a little late getting in.
Oh, come on in. Okay. So come on in, find a seat there. I've got a couple binders. I'm so glad to see you. You're here. That's the important thing.
We don't walk the other third floor, the wrong side.
Oh, no, Dorothy. Oh, no. Okay, well, you're here. You relaxed. You put your feet up. So we are talking about olive oil and how to look for extra virgin olive oil, because that's the important one. So Kirkland, Costco is going to have it. The other thing is, don't look for Best Buy. I could care less about Best Buy. That's for other kind of food products. Olive oil is harvest date. So look for harvest date. That's like maybe, okay. Is that 100%? No. The next thing I would look at is try and look for a name of an estate, like the region and the vineyard, the actual vineyard, not like, oh, it came from Spain and Greece and Italy. Okay, I'm like, that makes me very nervous. I don't know that it's fraud, but I'm telling you, if they don't have, and there is like a European certification, there is like an international certification. Those are just too close to the money, guys, from what I've read. So they haven't cleaned them up to my knowledge. Okay. So until they do.
The Aldi brand.
The Aldi? Well, I didn't see that on the COOC.com website, but I would check there. So, Trader Joe's tries to be very conscious, and Aldi's is with them. So, you could probably call up Trader Joe's and ask them and all these and call them up. They seem to be a very aware company. So let us know if you do that. All these does, I've looked at theirs and I've just been like, it looks like it. So it looks like it might be. But if you're going to, I would maybe even go the extra mile and call up the company. So
They have many different types of oil.
they do, and always extra virgin. Look on it, make sure it's not chemically extracted, it's pressed. It usually says cold pressed. So yes, please, those are hers. Yes, and this one's for Fred. So yeah. What's your name?
Estella?
Estella. Hi, Estella. Okay.
You see the seal that you talked about?
Yeah. Oh, let me pass it around here.
I was
So, and if you ever want to like send me, a name or a label, I'll do my best in evaluating, guys. So, I really don't want you to get scammed. I get very furious about this. Okay. So, I want to review what are our success principles. I had 4 in the first class. I just want to review those. I know everybody's practicing these, but does anybody remember what one of the 4 success principles was?
small changes.
Yes. Elaine said small changes. So baby steps, guys. This is the hardest for many people because everybody wants to just like check it off, do it and check it off and say, I did it, yay. But this is about seeding the place in your life and getting used to it and really so that it almost is undetected. You've got to figure that out. Okay, so I'm trying to work out, like do resistance training, which is something I've never been able to full, disclosure. I've never been able to regularly do resistance training. So what I've started to do is just go to the gym and do 10 minutes. I know, guys, that's it. Because I'm trying to seed the place in my routine. And I don't care if I do nothing for 10 minutes. I just want to go there and go into the machine area. And then I'm trying to get 2 times a week. I've done 1 and now I'm figuring out 2, but I'm just seeding it now. I'm planting that root, that place in my lifestyle. And then as I get going, I will grow it to some of the recommendations, but I'm going to go slow because this has been something that I've never been able to do. And I know I listen to all the shows and everything. I know I need to do it because my muscle, I'm losing it if I don't do anything. So, and I'm trying to make it enjoyable too. So I'm finding ways, guys. Okay. So I'm listening to my podcast on my ears and I'm doing those, what do you call those machines that are like, it's like a game machine. Like you do the dots, like it's the eGym. So, I'm trying, okay. So I told you one of the other steps was have fun. You've got to make it enjoyable. If I'm going to do this like for the rest of my life, do resistance training, which I should, then I got to make it fun. So you got to find, there's all different ways. Okay. So to do all these things, there's no one way for healthy eating that you need to do it, but it needs to be enjoyable. It needs to be delicious. So, okay. Anything else? So we've got 2 baby steps and have fun. Those are 2 of my 4 must-do success principles. Self-compassion. Thank you, Bernice. Self-compassion. You gotta be kind to yourself. Okay, things are gonna go not according to plan, a time or 2 or 100. Okay, so you gotta be ready to pick yourself up and go, okay, people struggle with this. Eating is hard. I'm programmed to overeat and I'm programmed to be negative. So those are gonna go against me, but I'm gonna keep with it. Because even small changes make a huge difference, guys. So self-compassion, do not beat yourself up. And one of the key things I find is how somebody reacts when things don't go according to plan. So you overeat at the Super Bowl parties coming up, okay? So what do you do the next day? Do you cut back your eating? Do you torture yourself? Do you think all day about how you overate? No. That's the worst thing you could do. You just go back to eating the same way you normally do, just doing your same things and just say, hey, I enjoyed the Super Bowl parties. So that's it. Move on. Get back. Okay. One last one.
Be open-minded.
Yes. Thank you, Penny. Be open-minded. Okay. So you never know what's going to work out. So you just gotta, it's kind of like for me, clothes shopping. You never know what's gonna look good, on. You see it on the hanger, somebody suggests it, and you're like, no, that's not me. And then you've tried on, you're like, whoa, I think I can do this. So just be open-minded, try things out, be willing to figure it out. Maybe it's got a little window that you see it could maybe work. So continue to work on it till it's something delicious that you can do. So, okay, so let's. Oh, well, I throw it the mindset, maybe one. Go ahead, Penny. What's the other one?
I choose.
Yes, that's my bonus tip. Penny got them all. Yay, 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 Penny. Okay, so bonus tip that I gave away was instead of I must do this, I should do this, I need to do this, it's I choose to do this. I choose to be here on Thursday evening. I choose to focus on finding vegetables that I love. I choose to find ways to season like Molly did. So, and I choose to be aware of what I'm eating like Nancy did. So all those things are great. So choose is really a great mindset change. That small little thing, if you start saying in your head, I choose. So, okay, awesome. So let's get going. So we've got lots to cover here. So
It looks like Terry had several of them. Yeah, the VR.
oh, Terry, I did not look here. Oh my goodness, Terry. Let's see.
Right there within the bottom.
Exercise, self-compassion, Terry, be open-minded. I choose. Oh my goodness, you are so great. Awesome. Yay, Terry. And you got the bonus one. I am impressed, guys. Super impressed. Okay. So let's hop on over to the PowerPoint, and I hope you got on. Somebody I saw there, it looked like you froze again. So I'm hoping everything's going okay now. Okay, let's go over here to my PowerPoint. Let's see if I got the right one. I had two up. Nope. So, whoops. Okay, I think I've got the right one. Yes, I do. So, okay, so plants. We're talking about the power of plants. So, okay. So, oops. Oh, I do that. I click the wrong thing all the time. How do I do that? Let's go back. Share. And there we go. Are we back? Not really. Okay, let's see here. Let me get back in here. We're here. Okay, so share screen and maybe I'm already there. Okay, I think we're working. Yes, it's coming up. Want to make sure you guys at home are seeing this in here too. Okay, we're good. It's slow. It's I guess overworked today. There we go. Okay. So, okay, our quote is, even in this high-tech age, the low-tech plant continues to be the key to nutrition and health. Remember at the beginning I said every 10% change from ultra-processed food towards more plant whole-based, you get 10% reduction in mortality. Yeah. 14%. Yes, 14%. So 10% change, 14% boost. Okay, that's good. So just, you don't have to go 100% from where you are. If you're eating a lot of ultra processed, you just need to start moving the needle. So, okay. So what does plant focus mean to you? So tell me share with me, what does that mean to you?
Veggies at every meal.
Veggies at every meal, Molly said. Okay. Other ideas?
Plan the veggies first, meat second, if you're including meat.
Okay, Elaine, I love that. If you're including meat, plan veggies first, then meat. Yes, like that one.
Base protein, lentils.
Bernice has a lot of great ideas for plant-based proteins. Love that, lentils. So, and share if you're doing plant-based protein. We'd love to hear. So ideas. So, okay. Now this is, you have this in your binder, and this is simple, but in its own way, to me, profound. So that is what you want to move your eating towards. That's what I'm always keeping in my mind. Now, this is not meal by meal, guys. You don't have to have every meal looking like this. it's over a couple days because, weekends, sometimes we change up our eating. So if you were to like spread on here on the counter for like 3 or 4 days, what would that look like? What would go into the vegetable and fruits? What would go in the whole grains? What would go in the healthy proteins? So would half be vegetables and proteins? Would a quarter be whole grains? And most the nonprofits will recommend at least half of your grains being what we call intact whole grain. Now, whole grain's a misleading word because marketers have like twisted it a lot. I like the word intact, meaning it's the original grain. It has all 3 layers. There's 3 layers to Mother Nature's grain. There's a bran, there's a germ, and an endosperm. Those are the 3 layers that it comes with when Mother Nature made it, the whole grain. So you want at least half, if not more. There's nothing wrong with moving more, okay? So, and then a quarter to be quality proteins, okay? And those can be a mix of plant and non-plant. So, and this is a good starting point. Some of us are going to find some tweaking with this, okay? That whole grain, maybe changing that up a little bit, So it's not, this is where I start people and then we start to tweak it according to maybe some health conditions that we're managing. So, but, and also in the whole grain, I usually throw in corn, potatoes, and peas in there too, because those are high starch vegetables. So the vegetables and the fruits, I really kind of, I in my mind, I'm thinking the non-starchy over there in half, okay? So, and we've got lots. It's just that we're not used to looking for them, guys. So don't be panicked like, I don't know that I do near enough. Well, that's what you're here for. So you're going to get ideas and you just start building it gradually, baby steps. Okay, so here's a chart that helps some people just understand what, the different kind of labels for plant-focused eating. And these are labels, they're trendy, articles are written about them. People talk about and say, I am lacto-ovo-vegetarian. And that's fine, guys. I'm just making a little fun, but these are labels. You don't have to, there's no one better label than another, okay? So these are just, for some people, they like to label themselves and keep to that. That's a way of kind of keeping them in the healthier category that they want. But there's none of these. You can be super healthy in any one of these guys, okay? So it's the choices you make within the category that really helps. So, okay. So disease-fighting power plants. So phyto means plant. So the phytonutrients or phyto compounds or phytochemical, I use that word chemicals. It's nothing that we like are spraying our lawn with. It's just naturally made things in plants. So phyto means plant. So these are plant things. And like we've talked about before about, these are the things that protect the plants, okay? These are the things, these are the burglar alarms. These are the security detail. These are the police force. These are that fire squad. All these, even the 911 driver, these are all part of the plant that we get, because plants don't have police squads. They don't have Coast Guard. They don't have, all these protections that we take for granted. So we get that. And it comes through just a lot of it comes in the skin and the seeds, but it's all throughout, and it's colors and it's the leaves and it's the fruit of it, all those things. So right now they have discovered, they've labeled about 25,000 phytonutrients. An apple has 10,000, guys, different ones. An apple. Now,
So bad.
what?
And I don't feel so bad about the apple that I ate watching.
Yes, the apple you ate. Yeah, you didn't hear. She ate a caramel apple last class. So, well, she was watching class. So I'm okay. I'm okay. So, yeah. So, but so it's really important we get these. You don't find these in animal products. It's just like, oh my goodness, I wish I could just shout it from the rooftops for people that they're missing out in the closer to whole plant when they don't eat it, when they eat it in the form of French fries. They're just, they're just cheating themselves. They really are. So it helps with, plants when they're out in the sun, they get breakdown, ultraviolet, like we get skin cancer. Well, they are going to, unless they have a protection system. And they have created their own protection system to clean that up. They clean up toxins, they ward off pests. That bitter part of kale and cauliflower and the cruciferous, that was created for insects. So when insects bite kale, they go, ooh, I think I'm going to stop. So, and we get that, and it actually creates a very minute reaction in our body that's good. Okay. So, it's amazing plants. There's so many things. So think of it like sunglasses, like, the security detail, all those things wound into one that we get. Now, you want to eat a rainbow of colors. We talked in other classes about that, how important it is. It's not just for looks. Red gives you different things than blue, than gives green, okay? All these give different antioxidants. They all have antioxidants in their whole plant form, but they're different. So you want to get different ones because they're going to affect different processes in heart disease, in cancer, in diabetes. So just so many things that happen there. Okay. So fiber is another really important thing that we only get in plants. We do not get fiber in animal products. Now I could go on and on about fiber, but I'll just keep it really brief. So we want at least 25 grams or more. And actually, when we were probably back roaming and gathering plants and, had a kind of a wandering tribe kind of lifestyle, we were probably doing 75 to 100 grams of fiber a day. So just from gathering the plants. So now fiber, what it does is it slows down because it's got stuff. Fiber is stuff that we don't have the enzyme to chop. Okay, unless you're a cow, you don't have the enzyme to chop up fiber that comes in plants. So you're like, well, what good does it do? It does a lot of good because when it mixes in your stomach, it creates a bolus there that slows the digestion down in a way that it slows the release into your bloodstream of glucose. So your blood sugar goes like a more even stable than up, down, up, down. So it really helps blood sugar just by adding fiber. Okay. So, and that's where, managing blood sugars, a lot of people can do it, can reduce their medication or even go without medication at some point with some fiber and some other things. But fiber is really important. So the other thing is fiber then moves on. If you think about it, in the stomach, it helps slow things down. I say it kind of creates a traffic jam. Just think of it. I mean, nobody gets hurt, but it's a traffic jam that takes a little bit to get fixed and everybody going through. So, and then the fiber continues on into the large intestine. Okay. Your large intestine goes from your hip on up, over, and down and out. It's about 5 feet long, and it's super important. And what happens there is you've got 1 trillion bacteria in there. You are actually more bacteria than non-bacteria. You have 70 to 80% of your immune system in your large intestine through the bacteria. So it's really important. And so the fiber is food for the bacteria. Now, here's the thing. You grow bacteria that are good if you have plants. You grow bacteria if you don't eat plants, still there, but they're not the good kind. They're the bad kind that are going to make you unhealthy. So we're still discovering, there's still a lot of research to be done. And if you see anybody claiming that you can do things like lose weight or solve this problem, they're stretching it big time. We still have a lot to learn. We don't have tools that can actually read all the different bacteria that happen in your large intestine. So how in the world do we know we can solve these things? So people are kind of jumping ahead of the wagon a little bit with some of these products and claims. But what we do know is plants is what feeds them and grows a garden that's beautiful and great for health there. So a lot of great things happen. There's the lining and what it lets through, and I could just go on and on. The other thing is fiber. Fiber also scrapes in a gentle but very thorough way your colon, so that it keeps things from hanging around and causing trouble. Think about it. You shouldn't have things just hanging around there long time. You should have things moving at a good pace, creating a good stool. So it scrapes it in a good way and just keeps things moving and keeps them from getting in trouble and keeps things from like staying there and going into the bloodstream that shouldn't be. Okay. We have research studies that even say that for breast cancer, that having a regular movement through the colon really helps, because there's a connection between bile, your large intestine, and your breasts. So that's for another discussion, but we know that there's so much that happens related to fiber, plants, and your large intestine. So really, really important. So, okay. So, heart health, when we have plants that are full of fiber close to their whole food form, we're going to decrease our LDL. We have polyphenols that are going to decrease oxidative stress, which are going to help with minimizing plaque or stopping plaque development. It's naturally low in saturated fat. Your plants are going to be in low in sodium and high in potassium. And it's both low sodium and high potassium that we need for good blood pressure. Not just the sodium, we need high potassium, and potassium is naturally found in fruits and vegetables. Okay, so we talked a little bit in the beginning about protein, had some questions, but there's a lot of protein in plant foods like beans. Now, I don't mean like, just lettuce. Don't be just eating lettuce for your protein, okay? So that does not have a lot of, it has a little bit, but things like beans, and we're gonna talk about tofu today, and nuts, and nut butters, and whole grains like quinoa. Quinoa is awesome. And we did that in the second class, guys. So that's a great grain. It really is. Yes, Carolyn.
We're going to talk about complete protein. Some of the proteins are not complete, and you have to add certain things to make them complete. And I have talked to so many people about this. The dietitian hired me and she said it's too complicated. I think we'll make an appointment. So
okay, it's okay. So plant proteins typically are not complete in the meaning that, and not all of them are. So let me just kind of do a disclaimer. But what happens is we have amino acids that we can't make. And amino acids are the building blocks of protein. So protein, when broken down, is amino acid chains. So amino acids, we need to have a certain number to just survive and to maintain and then be healthy. And so we need to get from food some of those. Some of them we can make from other parts. So it's really important that we get them. And what Carolyn has pointed out and heard is that plant proteins are lacking in some of those amino acids. And that's true. But if you do like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, the bread and the peanut butter are a perfect combination, okay? Macaroni and cheeses, I'm not recommending these, I'm just showing some examples that you know. So usually if you have a mixed meal, you're going to get your proteins made up for. We also know that you can have, your body keeps a pool, so that if you eat breakfast with certain proteins, plant proteins, and then dinner, and those match up, your body will match it up. Now, I would be really concerned with younger children, and I would make sure if they were eating vegan or vegetarian, that I would want them matching up a little bit, kind of focus on that. But for us adults, the research says we do pools of it, not for over several days, weeks kind of thing. But we do for for 24 hours, we're going to be able to match that up with what we eat. So for the most part, we don't find, but we find problems when people are doing things like just eating white rice. Okay. So, but if you're eating a mix of things and purposely in having some of these things I call protein here, tofu, nuts, beans, seeds, and quinoa is pretty darn high. So if you're having those at most every meal, you should be good, Carolyn, but I am happy to sit down with a menu and just kind of go through and show you kind of and do, and we can do some analysis. I usually don't do it at the top of my head, I'm not that good, but we have some analysis that will, nutrients that will match them up and say you're deficient. But that's a great point, Carolyn. And we do get concerned at that at a point. And we do have people that are going vegetarian that are lacking. Okay, and we're going to get to some minerals that we do want to watch out for. So, but in general, protein isn't one, but it could be, and it does tend to be though when we get older women. So, and some men, I'm not going to rule out men, but in general, we have some struggle with older women. They're cutting back what they're eating and they need to up their protein. So we need to sit down and talk about serving sizes and talk about the, you know, making sure they get the nuts and the nut butters or the tofu or the beans and things like that, or a little chicken and fish. So, okay. So these are the vitamins and minerals we want to just watch. And you want to tell your doctor, if you're going vegetarian or vegan, do mention it to your doctor. So I do take vitamin B12. I have talked with my doctor because I do eat like a bite here and there of meat, but I am generally vegetarian, heavily towards the vegan side. So I'm at risk for B12. And B12, there's some things to do with, let's just say homocysteine, which is related to dementia that we're seeing come out. So you really want to make sure. So you can do a vitamin B12 through a supplement. You can do it through a multivitamin, and you can do it through a shot. So talk with your doctor, okay? So it's not a hard thing. You can get it, a blood test. Vitamin D, 40 to 60% of the population in the US is deficient vitamin D. So again, it's one of those things that it's really hard to say, oh, you know what, Carolyn, you're a vegetarian, so let's give you a 2000 IUs. I did get tested. Okay, I got tested not this year, but last year, and my doctor just said, keep going. And we looked at it and I was deficient. And then I started taking a very high vitamin D per prescription. And I did that for 3 months and we retested and I was well within the range. So I backed down, but I'm still taking a supplement. And she said, no need to do a blood test this year. We'll do it next year. So we're doing it every other year. So just, go with your doctor. And these things, just don't, I wouldn't recommend like kind of ballparking them, but they're not expensive to do these blood tests and figure these things out. So, and your doctor is there. That's why you need to be in communication with your doctor. Calcium, we don't do that in a test for a blood test, but calcium is something you want to be concerned with. But tofu is very high in calcium, so that could be a great source. You want to stay away from things like rice and almond milk as your calcium source. They are very lousy for calcium. So a lot of people are using their milk as their go-to. So if you were and you thought your almond milk was going to be the go-to, it's not. Iron for a lot of us, we just need to watch it. Those are things at different phases of life we can struggle with. I tend to run low, but I always watch it. So again, there's some simple things you can do with an iron supplement. Vitamin C will double your absorption of iron. You need to make sure it's not near tea. Tea will actually reduce your absorption. So you need to make sure you're an hour to 2 from tea drinking, but take your iron with some vitamin C. So, and that can be like tomato, it can be potato, it can be orange, it can be, there's like a ton of things that are vitamin C, but you will double your absorption of iron. So if you're really low, a very easy way, I'm telling you, it's very easy when I work with clients, is take the pill with vitamin C consistently and then retest. So, okay, milk alternatives, I kind of talked about those. We've got a lot of them going on. Oat milk is also lousy in calcium. I'm not saying you shouldn't do those, okay? I do a lot of soy milk, and I brought an example of what I like to use. I do some almond because the girls like to do the almond, and oat milk. It's kind of trendy here and there. I would love, so, but I don't really sustain with oat milk. It's fine if you want to do it, but again, not a calcium source. Coconut, not heart healthy, actually the opposite. And thank you for bringing that up, because actually coconut milk has 5 grams of saturated fat per cup, whole milk 4.5. So coconut milk has a romantic reputation. I think that's because it's like tropical. So, and everybody wants to add a lot of self-proclaimed nutritionists online. I get really frustrated because they got great recipes, but I find all of them added with coconut milk. Okay, if you want to sprinkle a little bit of coconut for flavoring, because I love, flavoring of coconut, but you're not going to see me having whole coconut milk in my cupboards doing, I'm not even,
Coconut oil bad too.
yeah.
It seems like it is.
It's a tropical oil. Yeah. Yeah. So coconut is really off my list, and I mean, I've looked at it in depth, and even unfortunately, some dietitians have not updated their research. So, okay. So, and it's got great flavor, Bernice, and it's done in, like, I really would love if anybody has a really good curry. So it's done with a lot of curries, and I love the flavoring of curry. So if anybody knows how to do it without some coconut milk, let me know. Okay, so Dirty Dozen Clean 15. I just want to caution you here. A lot of write-ups and journalists will do things to try and grab attention. And it seems the Dirty Dozen is a really clever way to do that. Okay. I don't know, but I'm actually gonna tell you, you don't need to like follow these lists. If you want to, fine, but don't get your blood pressure worked up in a tizzy from these, because what happens is they do one test. They don't test all the strawberries in the world, and they then say which is the highest. Did they say that they're all well within the EPA guidelines? No. They just said these are the highest, and they label them as Dirty Dozen. Okay. The other problem is you can't get these all as organic. Okay. Plus, I don't know how your budget is, but I can't afford this. And I can't remember the last time I did organic strawberries, just because I look at the price and I go, budget, that's $1, $2 different. Going with the bottom line for nutrition is you're going to get a lot more healing power from just eating whole fruits and vegetables, whether they're conventionally or organic. Okay. So just focus on that. I have actually had some of my family members like come to me because I saw it on some, show about these lists and said, oh, I shouldn't be eating these. I'm like, eat them. Eat them.
Organics, the Dirty Dozen, and the conventionals. 15. I don't understand.
Well, no, organic versus the clean, they're not, these aren't organic, but most people, Carolyn, are asking, they want to ask me, should I do organic? And I'd say, yes, there are advantages for organic, definitely, but I can't afford, and there's not availability. If you can afford it, great. Okay. And if you believe in that wholeheartedly for some environmental reasons that you're aware of, that's great. In general, yes, we're going to find some more nutrition. But is it going to be significant enough that I'm going to want you to pay $2 more for every, strawberry? No, I have to do some cost benefit analysis there. So I hope that gives you some clarity. So if I could afford it, I would. Farmers market is great, awesome, like really. But a lot of us don't have the time or the ability to do farmers market. Okay, so how do we get more plants in? So there's a couple different ways. I'm just going to give you a couple strategies here. So just kind of think, oh, that would be easy. These are just different ways to think of how to get in more vegetables. So the first one here is kind of start like Elaine started to say here at the beginning, treat animal protein as a side dish, as a complement, the main as the vegetable, and get excited about it. If you're not excited, then ditch it, get something else, find something else. We've been trained to think that way. What are you having for dinner? We usually say the meat, but get excited about quinoa berry salad that we had, naked burrito bowl, those kind of things. So when you're menu planning, okay, stock your kitchen zones. We talked about this in the second class about if you're going to start making meals that are delicious and plant-based, you got to have the ingredients on hand. So start slow. So what's easiest? The refrigerator, the freezer, the pantry, the countertop. And start making it more visible and available. Okay? You got to have flavorings. You got to have seasonings that that you love. So what are they? Veganize. So veganize your favorite dishes, swapping out things. Can you bulk up your chili with more beans and less meat? Can you use some of that transitional meat? Crumbles, imposter meat, yes. So like crumbles, that's a transition. You don't want to stay there for ever and ever, but if you stay there for a while because that's comfortable and that's a way you can transition, that's fine. It's just that is a more processed kind of product. Can you add mushrooms? Because mushrooms are a great way to kind of add meaty texture to things, but you're adding a vegetable, and I love the flavor of it. Nutritional yeast. If you haven't tasted nutritional yeast, I always have some. Shake some and see. You can start adding that as just like a flake topping on things instead of Parmesan cheese, or do half and half. You have a recipe for pesto that we won't get to, but it's in your binder. And I do it when I make it. I usually make it with all nutritional yeast. You might want to try the first time with half Parmesan cheese and half nutritional yeast, but it's going to be flavorful, have a lot of kick without the Parmesan. So soya, I'll show you soya. That's an alternative in place of meat that is minimally processed. You can use an egg alternative. If you go to the presentation on Tuesday, the Heart to Heart event, Dr. Shen is going to be presenting about AFib, and I'm going to have chocolate chip cookies made with a flax egg. Instead of egg, I put flax in there. I also put tahini. There's no added margarine or butter or olive oil or canola oil. There's only tahini as the fat, no egg, and they're delicious. Okay, so you'll get to taste those if you come to the event. It's free, Tuesday night, 5:30. You just need to sign up, or, we're not going to turn anybody in at the door, but we have a lot of fun. It's 5:30 to 6:30, and it's going to be about AFib and how you can make lifestyle changes for that. So, okay, so planning, doing your meal prep and planning your meals. Are you planning at least one meal a week that's a meatless meal? Okay, a lot of people start with Meatless Monday. It's a great way to go. Whatever's the easiest one. And then are you looking at maybe sometime during the week doing a bulk prep of veggies? I know a lot of people do a bulk prep of protein. Okay, but can't we do a bulk prep of veggies? Okay, just get started small. Just cut up some carrots so that you have them there and they're ready to go, and they'll stay for 5 days, guys. Just put them in a container. You don't even put water in them. They'll just be fine. They're what I call a robust bulk veggie. So cook a grain. Quinoa will stay all week. If you cook that, it takes 12 minutes. You can put it in the refrigerator. You can even freeze it. And then, it's so easy. So that's fine. So one meal per day, 100% plants. So for a lot of people, that might be breakfast is the easy start, maybe lunch. Okay, dinner is going to be the hardest one. But, stir fries, hummus, lettuce wraps. We're going to do some great ones today. Vegetable soups, those, veggie burgers. Those are ways to go for, lunches if you need to. Breakfast, you've got oatmeal, you've got frittatas, you've got overnight oats. There's all kinds of things you can do for breakfast. And then the last thing is, just layer in more veggies. A lot of recipes, it's like, well, it's really easy. Let me just add some mushrooms, or like a lot of times, if you just serve something on a bed of chopped up lettuce, it's like, oh, I get more lettuce, greens. I never thought about serving it that way. So we just need to start thinking of these things. So, okay, so let's get going. So we got lots to do and fun stuff. So I'm going to get back. I want to show you this soya. So I think I'm back. Yes. Let me grab it here. So this is just an option. I'm not pushing this, but okay. So we talked about like crumbles is a fake meat product. And I actually used it in chili the other day for a test run for a Super Bowl recipe I'm going to put out in the media. The kids loved it. They gobbled it down. And guess what? They're having the second batch. I made a double batch. They're having it tonight over roasted potatoes. So just gonna pour it over roasted potatoes. I mean, I made it this morning. The potatoes were all cut up. I said, put in the oven at 350 for 45 minutes, guys, and then pour the chili over it and you got a meal. So, but that's more processed. Those kind of fake burgers are more processed. They got a lot of salt too. So next thing would be something like this. The soya, you have to special order this. So it's from Canada. It comes in like a aluminum container bag that looks like astronaut food. It will last for like months, but what it is soy flour dehydrated and then reshaped into chicken looking strips. And they have one for beef, and they have one for like fajita strips. Now they have no flavor, just like we're talking about tofu today. We're going to talk about, they have no flavor. So you have to make sure they're in something with a lot of flavor, like chili or tacos, or, you know, make them into a meatloaf or something. But, you know, again, it's a great transition, especially if you have other people in the household that are like a little skeptical of what's going on. So I will leave this out, but it's called Sasoya. I really wish it was more popular and available on the shelf. Here's the soy milk that I recommend. It's from Trader Joe's. If you find it around here, let me know. But the nice thing about it is the only ingredients are water, whole organic soybeans. Okay, this doesn't cost a lot. I do go up about once every 6 weeks to Iowa City to get it. This expiration date is October 10th, 2023. So you can get several of these and just keep them. So they won't go, doesn't need to be refrigerated. I know that's the European way, guys. It's safe. So it's called UHT. So once you open it, you put it in the refrigerator. I like this too, because it's smaller. So, because I have like 3 milks with all the kids. So, so this is just one option. It's just that the soy milks, the almond milks, a lot of times they have so much added to them. Okay, so be careful, don't get any sweetened. That's the first thing. Just make sure no sugar. I usually get vanilla unsweetened. So when I get the almond milk. So basil tonight, storing basil. This is one fun way to help your basil stay longer. You got to take out the stems and get the stems into the water. I just put like 2 inches of water in there, and this will help it stay, because it drives me crazy how basil goes bad like in 2 days. Don't put basil in the back of the refrigerator. Basil is high maintenance. Okay, I call her. She doesn't like cold. Okay, so the front of the refrigerator. So, or in the door. Let's see. Okay, let's get going. Yeah.
If it's in the refrigerator, do you have to change the water?
Oh, thank you for asking. Yes, change the water every 2 to 3 days. Yep. Yep. So that, just like the cilantro. So, okay, we're going to do Colliard wrap. So we're going to get our water going, boiling. So we got to get our camera. Let's see, I think we're going to switch our camera.
The water will taste funny or something.
Yeah, you'll taste it. It won't be bad, like dangerous, but it will, you'll see. Cilantro, it'll be a little slimy. So, yep, good question.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay, and yes, we're here. Okay, let me get my gloves on and my hat, and then we're gonna make some rolls. So let's make the sauce first. So we're gonna make a peanut sauce. So this is a favorite peanut sauce of mine. Now, it's a hoisin-like. I call it hoisin-like because for a while I had hoisin in it, but hoisin is so high sodium, and it always comes in a big bottle, and you just need a little bit. So I worked on the sauce so that it's hoisin-like, but we don't have hoisin in it. So, okay. So we've got peanut butter, just regular peanut butter. Okay, I don't want you to have to get special ingredients, and I really hate stirring the old fashioned. If you figured that out, great, but I had just never figured out the stirring.
So what are you mixing that we should turn the
Hoisin-like peanut sauce. So, and I'm making 4 times this so that everybody has plenty to eat. And I usually make 4 times it because I put it in a squeeze bottle because I love it and I go through it. I use this, I put this over my tofu as a sauce. I put it over just wraps, I'll dip it in. Actually, the other day, I made a wrap with rice wraps And we'll show that later, but I put in the rice wraps, if you've ever seen rice noodles from like the Asian store, you can get them in Walmart, but we put just a little bit of these in the roll with same thing that we're doing here, the matchsticks veggies, some basil, and then we dipped it in the hoisin sauce. Now today in the collard wrap, I'm gonna put the hoisin sauce in the wrap. So there's a lot of different ways you could put shrimp in these, the rice rolls. That's a very common way for the rice wrappers to use those. So lots of creative ways we can go. Okay, so we've got paprika. That's going to give us the hoisin-like a little bit, with the ginger gives us kick. We've got, this is a chili Thai sauce. It does have sugar in it, but we're just going to use a little bit. You can get a garlic, whatever you can find in the store, a sweet garlic sauce usually in the Asian food section. This is called sweet chili sauce. It's nice if it has sweetness and a kick. That adds complexity to it. And then we're using the coconut liquid aminos, which is like sodium, like soy sauce, but much lower sodium, a lot lower sodium. It's a little more expensive, guys. I'm sorry. It just is that way. But a little honey, that's also going to give us a little bit of the texture I need for the hoisin-like. So a little honey in there. And some water. And here's my Thai chili sauce. And if you ever want to like have a fun shopping trip, go to one of the Asian stores too. So I haven't been to all of them. I've been to like 4 in the area. So, but there, produce and all the different kind of things there. It's just fun to find new products and new things. So let me, I'm going to whisk this together.
Chili garlic sauce in the recipe.
Does it?
It says chili garlic instead of the chili Thai.
Yes, chili garlic. So either, whatever you can find. So yes. So
Sriracha instead would have been 1-to-1.
yeah. We're using sriracha in the salmon. So, but yeah, you can use sriracha. So I love how you're thinking, Elaine. So yeah, so if you don't have it, you don't want to buy one of these, that's fine. So, start thinking, I need kick. So, okay, so we've got our sauce, and I made a mess as usual. So we're gonna clean up. So if you're not messy, then you're not having enough fun. So it's fine. Okay, so we're going to do the collard wraps. Ooh, it is boiling. Good, perfect. Ooh, okay, so collards. So let me get. There are my collards. So here's what the collard looks like, and they're at Hy-Vee. They're usually at Walmart. You just may not see them. They can get rather big, kind of like huge. They can get. So this is kind of a nice size. These are, and what we want to do, they are bitter. So we need to tone down the bitterness, and we need to get them so we can roll them. So we're just going to cut off the stem like that, and we can't quite roll it, okay? And we've still got some bitterness problems going on here too. So what we're going to do is we're going to break the spine. So I'm going to flip it over so the underside is up, and I'm going to take my chef's knife and just lay it over the thick part of the stem and just break that there. See, so I broke it. So now that's going to be easier to roll. You can take a paring knife, but that's no fun. So, and take that off. So we're going to blanch. So remember, Terry, you asked about blanching. We can do blanching like this. Blanching is basically doing a quick boil and then stopping it with ice or cold water. So we're just going to do like 30 seconds in here. This is something most of us are kind of, we're doing multitasking. So 30 seconds, if you go to 2 minutes, it might not be horrible, but don't go like 20 minutes, like go do the laundry and forget about it. Because you'll get it probably overcooked then. About 30 seconds, we just need to make sure it's all in the boiling water there.
What your ice is over here.
Yes.
Bring that over.
Perfect. Yes. Thank you. So we're going to flip that over. I'll go ahead and take that. Awesome. So you can actually, I did in about 15 minutes, about 15 of these for our class. I mean, I was going to town because I was running out of time. So you could not come in and talk to me because I was going. But you can do that. You can do, and you could do this for the whole week because Colliard wraps will stand up. They will be fine. So I'm going to put this in here. Now this can sit in the ice water. That could sit for 20 minutes. We just need to stop the cooking. So that's what we're doing. And what we're a couple things what we're doing through the heat, you'll see it's getting darker green. That's when your vegetables get darker green, it's because you're popping the air bubbles near the outside. So they're more intense green color looking. We also are, the bitterness is going to tone down a little bit. And of course it's weakened a little bit so we can roll it. So all those things happen. Plus we destroy some enzymes that kind of break it down so it can be stored. So now chefs do blanching all the time in fine restaurants. That's how they do their vegetables in the morning so that they get them ready so that because they don't have the time to cook them from raw when they're serving all those patrons. So they will blanch for a lot of dishes and just do a quick heat to revive them back. So there we go. So we're just going to put those in there.
I have that question about freezing kale. Is
Yes.
this the level to which you would blanch if you were going to freeze kale?
Yeah, I would. I would be very careful about 30 seconds, just cold and go.
Okay.
Colliard and kale are pretty robust. So you can see here, I'm not being genteel, okay, delicate here. So you don't really require it. So then we can just dry out.
Put them together and boil them.
You could do like 3. You just need to make sure you get them immersed under the water. I was doing like 3 if they're not huge. Sometimes those leaves are huge though. Yes.
Would you use like a great, like, what if you had a big pot? And then like you did like, you do like 10 at a time or?
Yeah,
or-
just watch them so that,
Has to be under-
yeah, just get them submerged. Yeah, you'll be fine. They're pretty robust. So we're just gonna dry those off. But I want to, and then we'll start rolling in a second, but I want to show you kind of what we have for our assembly here. So red pepper. So red pepper, you cannot graduate from classes without knowing how to cut a red pepper. So I got going, I cut off the end. Sorry about that. I was like, oh. So, but okay, red pepper, just stand it up. It's like a box. Think it's a box. So we're going to cut off the bottom, which I already did, and the top. So now top and bottomless. Let me get my discard bowl here, actually. Discard bowl works nice there. And I do not waste red pepper, so I will eat this later. So now we stand it up and we're going to open up the box. So we just slit the side. See, I slitted the side. And now I'm going to open the box up. And then now I'm going to think my knife needs to go level. I'm going to try and get this as level as I can. This kind of just happened to go out. It doesn't always go that way, but I'm just going to take this level. See how I'm just taking my knife along there and catching whatever I can. And that gets the piffy part. You don't need to worry anything more. You know, don't be doing this kind of thing. Okay. So that's all. Then we're going to take off the seeds. These are the most bizarre shaping. This IV for the last since COVID. I don't know what it is. So, but we will work with it. Mother Nature, we just love you. So, okay.
Remove those things or can we a bit or whatever?
This?
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to remove that just because of the flavor. So usually you're going to want this part. Now these, yes, but you'll see for making the matchsticks, this is the best. So, and I'm going to just I want to make it level because a lot of cooking is like mechanics, just like sewing. I'm teaching my daughter how to sew. It's like, you need to be mechanic. You need to think your weight and where it is. And so same way with cooking. So, we don't want this cutting board way out here. We want it here. We want to flatten this so I can go quickly. I'm just going to go down. I'm doing small. Now, if I was doing my roasted, I would probably do like that. Because roasting shrinks down a lot. So, and then I want smaller to go in the Colliard. So these are really tall red peppers. So there we go. So there you go. See, really easy. So when you do that, if they're on sale, you can get like 10 red peppers and roast them. In like 15 minutes, you could have those opened up and de-seeded and all. I'm going to show you how to do carrot and cucumber. So here, I peeled it and then this is a manageable length. Don't ever work with the whole cucumber. Just cut it down to manageable lengths. And the first cut's the most dangerous. We're going to go on the side because we're making matchstick. So I make one cut and then I roll it. Now I've got the level side that I can work with. So I'm going to cut there near the edge and I'm going to roll it, cut near the edge, and I can keep it there or roll it for whatever I want. And I'm going to do pretty thin for this. So I do it thicker if I was snacking on it, but, and then a couple piled high, don't get show off and do like 6 on top, but, so I just want to cut these down a little bit. So make sure, again, don't always pay attention when you've got a knife, get it level. Yes, we don't want any accidents happening. So, this is where I need my cloth, and last week's how we talked about. And notice I am not doing this part. Don't let me catch you doing that. Okay, this is gonna ruin the knife if you do that. You always do this edge. So again, you want a manageable. This is about as long as you want to go. You just can't work your hand unless you're like huge hands. You can't work with that. So again, same thing. Hold it tight. The first cut's the most dangerous over there near the edge. And I'm going to slide and roll. Now I've got a flat edge. So now I'm going to go near the edge, roll it, near the edge, roll it, and now I can cut. Now, if I was snacking, I'd probably go with this size. So, but for the matchstick, we're going to go a little thinner there. So we got plenty. So, okay. So this is basil. This is a scallion. Remember, scallion, we use the green end and the white end. We cut that off. I usually cut like that much off. And then just use it all. So anybody remember about the trick with scallions? 2 bunches of scallions fits pretty much in, the Parmesan shaker, the standard one. Empty that out. 2 of these put in there, okay, in the Parmesan shaker, then put it in the freezer. And you can add it to wraps, to eggs, to salads, to anything you have ready to go washed scallions. Just take it out from the freezer real quickly, add it, put it back quickly. Don't let it sit out because it will thaw and then you'll have a big clunk in the freezer. So that's an easy way to have onions all times. So, okay, so I think we're ready to go with our wrap here. So let's see, I'm going to do a little bigger one here. Yeah, these will work. I just want to show you the wrapping. So let me see here. Here we go. We'll use this one. This is pretty. So this is perfect. So, okay, we're going to get the hummus. And hummus, I'm doing store-bought. You can make it, but I got a life just like you do. So you got to figure out what you're going to make from homemade and what you're going to buy. So the hummus is going to be higher in salt and oil. And the oil, I don't know where they sourced it, even though it's called olive oil. So that's another big question mark. But in the end, you've got to have a life. So, okay, we're going to put it about 1 inch from the end there usually, and just kind of, we're going to use about that much of it because we need to roll it. Okay, if you have a huge like elephant size ear one, cut it up a couple times because you don't want to roll it 10 times. Okay, we don't want that much collard. So then next we're going to put just a couple strips, whatever you want. And you don't have to add these. You can add other things. Cucumber's nice because it's a little bit of kind of moisture with it. A little bit of basil. You could do mint too, is really good in here. I don't have too much basil, so I don't want to put too much in there. So little scallions there. And then keep that in there. Get a better yet. Let's just get. So I'm just going to just give a little bit of kick there with this. So, okay. So just like a burrito, we're going to go fold it over the ends, and then we're going to take this end here and roll it and tuck. And I usually overstuff because I get excited. So, and it rolls really easy, guys. Look at that. Got my fingers once there. So,
Oh, nice.
so, and then you don't have to, but I want to show you what it looks like. So look at there.
Yummy, yummy.
Yeah. So you can make all these ahead and put them in a plastic bag. I would put either a paper towel or parchment between them. You could probably reuse parchment almost week to week if you were doing this regularly. And then you have, I mean, you bulk prepped. Now you can just make your lunch in the morning and you'll have this. And this should be fine during like lunch, you know, like, because you made it up ahead and it's got moisture in it. It will be fine for a couple hours, okay? It won't be fine for a couple days, but it'll be fine.
Put it on parchment or paper towels, put it in a plastic bag and
Yes.
refrigerate.
Yep, I have done that for class and done that for demos. So yeah, so this is, you know, just look at this. It's super flavorful. That peanut sauce can be used all different ways. So excited. So I want to show you some other ways to use it. I want to get the rice going. Better get the rice going. So let's get, we're going to use the minute rice. So the minute rice is parboiled. So here it is, brown rice. All it is pre-cooked and then stopped brown rice. And brown rice from scratch, from raw, takes 45 minutes. So most of us, that we just don't plan that in. That's hard. So this is only 10 to 12 minutes. So that's really nice. Now quinoa is also about 10 to 12 minutes from raw. So, but we're going to do brown rice for the sushi. So, okay, we're gonna get that going. And then, let's see, let's talk about tofu. So tofu, tofu is what, anybody know what tofu is?
Bean curd.
Yes, it's bean curd, soybeans. So if we look at the ingredient list here, it is just water. Remember, it's listed by weight. Soybeans, calcium sulfate, calcium chloride. So those last two calcium words are enzymes to curdle the soy. That's all. Cheese is curdled milk, guys. This is a cousin, I like to call, sort of. So I've had people say it's not the favorite cousin, but. So, yes. And Lisa Lisa, go ahead and share. Because you prepare tofu and you were not before.
Yeah, and my husband eats it, and I mean, I've made toasted tacos, I've made, with the sauce, the peanut sauce and stir fries. What else have I done? I don't know, sometimes I just Google on Pinterest or look on Pinterest but all the recipes that I've got from Teresa. Amazing, so.
Yeah. Great. Okay. So tofu, you open it up and it's got the water brick in it. So I'm just gonna dump it out. And here is the spongy, ugly kind of texture for it. Okay. Nobody ever just starts to munch on this. Okay. So you've got to change it. You've got to, first of all, usually you're gonna get the moisture out because remember, water is the #1 ingredient. Now, the difference between the different tofus, soft, firm, extra firm, is how much water is clinging inside. There's the least amount in the extra firm, so usually I grab the extra firm. Okay, there's more in the soft. So the soft you might do with a soup. I just usually always have the extra firm. So we need to get the water out of here. We need to squeeze it, but you can't just sit there and squeeze it because it's going to crumble. So the best way to do it actually is, and I brought my dish towels to show you. I didn't use these for the tofu here because we don't have a laundry service, but I want you to understand how to do this. I will take the dish towels at home and I will cut this. I'll just do half. So I'll cut it into 8 like meatloaf slices. So I'm just doing that real quickly there. So, and then I will just set it on. Okay, we're going to add. This is spoiling. Can somebody get a timer for 10 minutes? Just put it on. Thank you. So I put that there. I put all 8 of them here. And then I put the towel over. And then I put usually a cutting board on top. And you're like, yeah, okay, what is that for? And then I grab dishes and I put on top. Because what have I done? I've created a weight that's evenly distributed distributed, but not squishing it too much. It's just perfect. And now after half an hour, I will squeeze out enough water. So usually that's all you need to do. So it's much better to do the slices. Even if I went into the cubes like this, that's exactly how I did this, but I did it with paper towels here because we have to do paper towels. So I often will do on the weekend 2 bricks, okay? 2 of these. I know you're like, whoa. So because I'll use it in the meals during the week, and then I use it for several lunches. It's a protein, guys. So I use 2 or 3 of those slices as my protein for lunch. So, but I add flavoring to it, okay? Again, you don't just eat it like this. So what we do is, okay, here's the veggie. Nope, that's not it. That's the barbecue. So this must be, no, that's the salmon sushi. Well, oh no, I didn't do it. That's right. I was just going to take you through the recipe. So the veggie bowl tofu marinade, this is raw tofu. There's nothing wrong with it, but most people are going to be like, no. And that's okay. I just want you to understand there's nothing wrong with tofu, that you could just eat it once it's flavored. And this has got some flavoring there. It has rice vinegar. Rice vinegar is very common in Asian cooking. It's a very mild vinegar. So if you ever want vinegar but no kick, like balsamic, rice vinegar is your go-to. Just make sure rice vinegar doesn't have the word seasoning on it. Okay. So this one here, just rice vinegar, natural. There's another one that says seasoning, and that has salt, of course, added. So we've got ginger powder, garlic powder, sesame oil gives it that kind of Asian kick. You could use olive oil, but the sesame oil kind of has that toasted flavoring to it. And then the coconut aminos. And it basically sucked up all of that marinade. And so it's done. So if you want to, those that are here, you can taste this. Now you could just, you were like, you could taste it and go, Teresa, I like that, but no way, the texture is just not there for me. And then you could saute it. We're going to saute these so you could make this firmer and cooked and hot by doing it that way. But Fresh, what was it? Fresh Eye, they used to do just steamed tofu. Now they don't exist now by the buttplex, but that's what they used to do. They didn't actually fry their tofu. They actually steamed it. So it was pretty much like this on their salads and their bowls and stuff. So I just want you to know that's very simple to do. You could do that. So, but what's more common for people is to marinate after they've taken the water out, just like meat. Okay, you marinate it, you give it flavor. Okay, so we're giving this flavor. This is a homemade barbecue. It's got honey, it's got a lot of chili powder. Remember, no salt chili powder. It's got, paprika, it's got cumin, it's got all kinds of stuff. So I used a baggie at home. I usually don't use a baggie because I'm gonna have to toss these baggies, and it's just an environmental thing. So I will do a baking pan and just lay down the kind of meatloaf slices and then pour the marinade over. And then every like half an hour, if I remember, I'll flip them or pour it, just like you do with meat. So you could just let it marinate a couple hours. If you only have a half an hour, then you just do a half an hour. So whatever you have, you do. But the more you marinate, the more it's going to take on flavor. And then we're going to saute it. So I'll do that in a few minutes. I'll say saute it so that we can taste it here. But there's all kinds of ways to do tofu. It's kind of like, do you like your filet mignon rare, medium rare, or well done? You will figure out if you like your tofu sauteed, or if you like it like harder, if you like it with a sauce. I mean, when I do the brick, a lot of times I'll saute with no flavoring, and I don't eat it plain. I'll use the peanut sauce, or I'll just, there's all kinds of sauces that I'll put on it. So, and I'll eat. So you figure out what you want. Once you saute it, it's not going to suck up flavoring. So you've got to kind of put a sauce on top and eat it that way. But it's not going to like just suck up, because once it's cooked, it's firm. So, okay. So that's the barbecue. So, and we've got the hoisin, we've got the wraps. So let's finish up with the salmon bowl. So let me move this here real quick, and we'll do the salmon sushi bowl, which is a fun, easy, a little different dish to do. That introduces some flavors that go well together. And I've done this for a company that my brother-in-law is a dairy farmer from Wisconsin. So, he goes through 2 gallons of milk a week at least. So, and he's a very big meat eater, but he had this and he would just guzzled it down,
Really good.
yeah.
I've made it a lot.
Okay, there we go. So we're gonna finish cooking the rice. Once that gets done, we're gonna make it kind of a sushi rice, a fake, mock sushi rice by adding, I've got some rice vinegar and some sugar here. And I've already dissolved the sugar in it. So I will mix it I'm making double the recipe. So this is gonna be 4 cups of rice, brown rice. So that just gives it a nice sweet-ish flavor. So, and then we're going to be adding, let me get my bowl. So, okay. So just want to show you the ingredients we've got going on here. This is a super quick one. We're using the shredded carrots there. So 4 cups. Again, I'm making a double recipe here real quick. Salmon. So the salmon, I used canned salmon. So Wild Planet or Safe Catch. This was from Hy-Vee. Those are 2 brands. I might have a third. There's a third one. I don't know if I have it written there. Is there a third one? Do you see? I don't know. There's one more that I recommend.
Crown Prince.
Crown Prince. Thank you. Yes, Crown Prince. Thank you so much. So those are the 3 that I recommend. Okay. So now we aren't doing tuna because tuna has the mercury at a higher level. That has me a little concerned. Every once in a blue moon, tuna is fine, but it's not something I'm gonna recommend regularly. So this is the salmon, and you just flip it up with a fork. So we've got that, and then we're gonna add some nice color and some veggie with the cucumber. So what I did with the cucumber to give it some color, because this could use a little more green in there, is I just did this, stripes down it, and then cut it up. So it gives it a little color. You could just go with without peeling any if you wanted to too. So we're gonna add that. So, and then the sauce, let me grab a bowl here real quick. So the sauce is just 3 ingredients that are really crucial. Lemon juice, you could use jar if you wanted to. I did 2 lemons squeezed. And then the sriracha, so Elaine, this is sriracha. So gives it a kick, it's nice. And then some soy sauce or the coconut aminos. So it's got good tang, strong tang, good kick. And then that's, kind of soy sauce flavor there. So that we will mix in with our sauce. So we've got to wait for the brown rice to finish up, but we'll mix that in there. The other ingredient is seaweed. So seaweed. So we can do the snack size. You can do like 24 of these. I think how many does it say on there? I updated your recipe to have the number. 12. Okay, so 24 is for double. So 12 of these crumbled up, or I'm going to do 1 of these sheets. I'm going to do 2 for the recipe. So when you crumble, seaweed is actually, give it a chance. Like I love snacking on this, like really. And my kids, my 14-year-old, she takes 1 in her lunch and eats it. So it's minimally processed, guys. This is not like a pulverized product. This is seaweed, guys. Hy-Vee or Walmart.
In the
So-
section that
Hy-Vee, the health food section, and Walmart in the Asian section. These are the same brands from Walmart too. So it adds texture. It has iodine, like 2000% of what our RDA is. It has a trace of several minerals. Has a teeny bit of omega-3s, teeny tiny, not enough to really call it a source, but it's just, it doesn't have, it's not like carb. It's not like 70 calories. It's 10 calories for one of these sheets.
10 minutes.
Okay, 10 minutes. Okay, so this should be getting close. Let me give it like 2 more minutes. So I'm just gonna crumble this up, And I'm gonna have to change my gloves because it like sticks to your hand. It's almost like a magnet. So just be aware. And usually when the kids, what's that? Oh, yes, see? Well, and this is why I tell the kids when they start to eat, I say, go outside, go outside. So, but it adds texture and flavor and, just, be open-minded for it. So,
Like cutting it up with a knife instead, like making thin strips.
I haven't. I would take, it's kind of elastic-ish. I don't know. We could try that. Let us know if somebody tries that. So I did make a mess here. So, okay. Now I know what's that?
What all is in the bowl?
Okay. So we've got carrots, cucumbers, and the seaweed. And so I'm gonna add the brown rice. We're not quite done, okay? I don't know why. Oh, I miscalculated that.
Maybe.
Well, it's just not quite evaporated, so we need about 5 more minutes, it looks like there. I must have added too much water or something. So, but we're gonna stir this, put this together. I'm gonna get going with the tofu. We'll finish this up. I know we're over time. Think of your action step. So guys, that's the big thing here is we're in this to learn and be amazed and also to change our health in a significant way, but that's done through baby steps, through just small action steps. So flip to the end while I'm getting set up here. Go ahead and flip to the end of this class and look at the action sheet there and go ahead and pinpoint one thing, just one thing that you want to do. And it can be something else. These are just suggestions, just so you can get going. But so identify that as I'm getting set up here. So
What do you want me to do?
So if you can watch the rice, it's just still, it doesn't need to be stirred, it just needs to be washed. And then we'll mixing, if you can take care of mixing everything there. Yeah, do it. Gloves, yep, go ahead. Yeah.
They're in here?
Yep, left, go ahead, keep pulling.
Oh, gotcha.
So I am going to, where's my olives? Here's my olive oil. So I'm gonna do my trick that I do at home. I do not like using nonstick on my pans because I'm picky and it wears your pans down quicker. Oh, yes, and here we've got.
You do like spray, Teresa, is that what you mean?
Yeah, it's not horrible, but it does, what people are doing is they have their nonstick pans and then they're spraying them. Well, that spray has a coating to help be the nonstick. And most people are going too high heat and it's breaking down your pan. Yes, it becomes dangerous at a certain point, but it just becomes something you have to replace. So I don't want to replace my pans very often. So, they're not atrociously expensive, but it's just, I like my pans. So I'm going to use a paper towel to just move this around here. At home, I have a little square of a sponge that I have in a little saucer there, and I just use that, and then I throw it in the dishwasher every day so that it's clean. But I just use that because the paper towels if you cook as much as I do, you're like, another paper towel I'm gonna have to use. So I'm just gonna shake off the tofu because it's got the marinade on it. Now this is gonna turn really dark because of the honey in it. So the honey is gonna caramelize and almost like burn, but I promise you it's gonna taste delicious.
You ever
So-
recycle that marinade and just store
Yes,
more tofu?
you can.
Yeah.
I know people are like, no, that just seems so foreign because you would never, this is like, Yeah, so, but you can use this marinade and use it again, or you can put a little bit, serve it with it at the end. So,
The rice is boiling over.
okay, we'll turn it down. There we go. Okay. I think we're close. You can go ahead and check. Go ahead and check. So let's see at home. Did you guys have,
I'm gonna grab a spoon.
go ahead. Okay, discussion is now about soy, which I have an allergy to. Okay, Julie, we'll see you next week. So thanks. Coconut aminos are usually in your Asian sauces. You might have to ask. Thank you, Julie. Okay, so people were answering the question. Thank you, thank you. Yes, eat the rainbow. Awesome, Julie. Replace the meat with other protein. Awesome. Go for a variety of color. These are all what these people are going to do next week, guys. So does anybody want to share what they're going to go for next week? Try some tofu. There we go, Bernice. Awesome. Love it. So, okay.
What is it? I just
I know, I really like that.
I must have measured my butt.
I must have measured more like raw than yes, rather than parboiled. So, yeah. Okay, we'll get there. About the time that this, so what we can do is cut that for, whoops. Okay. So we want to put this in a bowl. So I'll grab a bowl and we want to set up some. So let me grab a couple.
Or you can have everybody make their own wrap.
Yeah. I'll keep, they can find everything out that they want.
And you want,
That's it. And we'll get a spoon there.
do you want to keep bag or?
I'll go with, no. Let's see, I'll put that there, that there. This is not big enough for that.
It's one.
Actually,
Oh, I know, I just grabbed, I didn't want the foods.
let's do that. I use my measuring all the time. And then let's see the wraps. If you want to grab the wraps, you can go around and let's see. Grab those and put them, yes, and go ahead. Okay, we're getting close here. Both of these. Okay, this is perfect. A lot of times I'm gonna overcook, like not overcook, but like brown it more. Part of my issue is my heat source is smaller here.
You've got that tofu on medium heat.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you know, the hard part for people is when you have a nonstick pan, you really shouldn't go over medium heat. So now if you're doing a soup and you have a pot, stock pot, yeah, you can go to high heat. But it wears the pans down. And we're just so impatient. And actually, like I have a friend that's French and he cooks low heat like all the time, 40 minutes veggies low, and it's delicious. They're so used to that mentality of, you know, we'll have dinner in 40 minutes an hour. And we're like, now.
Eat slowly too.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's just a whole different flavoring. It does. So. Let me get. Anymore. Oh, good. It's the slowest ever rice. It's close. But not close. I know. Oh, and here's the the what? For the rice to mix into that. Oh, so no, we do not now when it's dry. I'm gonna go up a little bit again.
You recommended rice over Uncle Ben's for the brown.
Either's fine. I don't have a preference there.
Okay.
So I have a rice cooker, so I'm spoiled.
Okay.
So at home, I'm actually either doing quinoa or brown rice in the rice cooker. Now, a lot of times the kids want white rice. So I let them have the white rice in the rice cooker, and then I just quickly make up some quinoa for me. So
What's the deal on a rice cooker? Is it like a pressure cooker? What makes it so unique?
yeah, basically. So I mean, it's just so nice. You just like put it in and then start, and then it's done in 15 minutes. And then it can hold for a couple days easily, but
Wow.
you shouldn't. I won't say I haven't, but
Now,
Yeah.
we keep this is in, no,
No, you can toss that.
Toss it?
Yeah, okay, toss
I was
it.
gonna say, you keep it in the, you keep it in the refrigerator.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
Other people use.
Use what, Bree? Oh, Instapot. Yeah, they do. They do. So, yeah. No, the right, you know, just a lot of rice from, my, in-laws are Filipino. So the rice is just a very staple part of their eating pattern. Yes, yes, they do. Okay. Yes, yes, Dorothy.
What about that soup here?
Yes. Okay, couscous, thank you for bringing that up. Couscous is like it's closer to pasta. There is a whole grain. We have some there. I think you have to get it at Trader Joe's. You see over there on the left? You want to go grab that, Lisa? On the second shelf on the left? So do you like couscous, Dorothy?
No, but I was so tired, I didn't know.
Okay, well, see, the problem is around here, maybe Fresh Thyme would have whole grain, but it's not a whole grain. A lot of people think it is because it's different, but it's not. If you get this, it's a whole grain.
What about cracked wheat?
What about what?
Cracked wheat.
Cracked wheat? You know, I have to look that up and see if it's a whole grain that has all three layers. I don't know for sure offhand. So what would you use it with?
Well, just like rice.
Yeah.
Cook it up and then put some sauce up there and something.
See if it's a whole grain, all three layers. I don't know.
Kind of
So-
use it like nutritional yeast.
Yeah.
You know,
You did?
Yeah.
I don't know. Bernice, mom was asking.
Sticky.
would you use it as like
Go ahead.
She was talking about nutritional yeast, like, you know.
No, just like,
It's,
rice.
it's
or-
good, isn't it?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Go ahead, dump it in.
Yeah.
Well, I will put this in. Yes, yes.
That's so, I know you use it as a base.
But it'll give you the.
I also have like an electric skillet, you know how you do pancakes in that? And I can do two things of tofu really quick. Yeah, I mean, yes, exactly. So it's really nice. I mean, I'll get that out and just do tofu by bulk for the week. And, oh, I wanted to show you too. So here's the spring roll wrappers. So, we did these in the other class, Elaine and I did, and these, has anybody used these? Okay, these are so fun, so fun. So they look like communion wafers, huge. So they don't need to be refrigerated. So now we can't roll with this, but watch. All I need to do is go here. Now in the next minute, it'll become malleable. Now, so this is what we did the other night. The girls devoured. Again, I did the same thing here, but I didn't put hummus in. You can't put like liquid stuff in here because the rice wrapper just won't hold. It's too delicate for that. But a lot of people put shrimp. I put very small squares of tofu that I had sauteed. You can add flavor to the tofu or just put kind of sauteed in there. But like I said, wrap it up and then dip it in the peanut sauce. Yum. So the girls ate all the rolls. So, and I like to put shrimp or tofu in them. So, and with the noodles.
This goes in here.
Yes, yeah, with these noodles. So you get these, I mean, you can get them, I think, at Walmart and Hy-Vee, but the Asian stores have them super cheap. There's a couple different ones. Oh, see, yeah, that one I got a little overdone. But that one's okay, because this might be okay, even though it looks.
It might just be the leftover green from the pie.
It might, yes, and there's some of that too. But you can see how you can roll this now. How it just takes like a minute or two. And I've had parties like where I've had family over where I've had wrappers and noodles and different sauces. I had like 2 or 3 sauces. And then I put out things like this. I did have chicken because, you know, I have meat eaters in the family too.
So you fill the wrap with rice noodles and that
A
gives.
little bit, not a lot, just a little bit, because kids love it. It does. And then the matchstick and scallions, and usually mint or basil is in a spring roll. So if you get them at like a Korean restaurant or a Thai, they'll do a fresh spring roll a lot of times. So, yeah, so be creative. So there's just a lot of things that haven't been done or discovered or we haven't heard of yet. So just be, you know, being open-minded. I will leave that one there.
Well, can I hire you for a couple days a week?
What's that, Dorothy? Well,
Well,
there you go.
Well, first gonna do